Hi, my name is Cécile Baumann, and I'm your host as well as the founder of GanzinBewegung. I'm a movement and Alexander technique specialist, passionate about helping individuals enhance their mind-body connection. At GanzinBewegung, we serve holistic thinkers who are eager to improve their overall well-being and understanding of themselves through movement. Our approach emphasizes that true transformation comes from a deep awareness of how we interact with our bodies and our environment. I'm honored to welcome you to today's interview, where we have the privilege of speaking with David Roylance, a renowned voice coach, best-selling author, and the founder of Speak to Shine. Before we bring David into the conversation, let me take a moment to explain what I mean by mind-body connection. The Guns in Bewegung system we developed encompasses 7 defining components of being human: movement, body awareness, our surroundings, personal experiences, emotions, thought processes, and breathing. These elements are all interconnected, creating a holistic framework that influences how we live and interact with the world around us. David Roylance has dedicated his career to empowering women, helping them unlock their inner strength and boost their confidence. Through his unique approaches to voice training and presence coaching, he has guided many women in finding their voices and making themselves heard in the professional world. Today, we will explore how his methods work, what participants can expect from his programs, and how individuals can effectively harness their own voice and presence to succeed in their careers. Welcome, David. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Cécile, thank you. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here.
We know each other through our shared friend, Patrick Nairn, who
Yes.
I interviewed in March, so actually last month. This shows how powerful networking can be.
It's true, and because Patrick brought us together, and if he hadn't, well, we wouldn't be doing this today, would we?
Yes. No chance. But probably I would have stumbled over you and your great work on LinkedIn or somewhere, hopefully. Can you share your journey with us? What inspired you to become a voice coach and establish Speak to Shine?
So I began my career as a professional actor, and I went to the Guildhall School of Music and Drama back in the early 1990s, recognized as one of the top 3 conservatoire trainings in the world for actors. Which is where I first discovered Alexander technique that I use a great deal with my clients now. And I met this woman who changed my life, although at the time I hadn't realized she was changing my life. And her name is Patsy Rodenberg, and she's the world's #1 voice coach. Really, world's #1, as well as at that time running the voice department at Guildhall. She was head of voice at the National Theatre in London. She worked in a school in Lausanne. She had a school in New York. And she was Barack Obama's voice coach in his first presidential election campaign. Now, it's fascinating because when these things happen, you never know that what's happening is changing your life. But she had such a profound effect on me that I went into the world of theatre after learning how to become an actor, and it's in many ways it's a devastating world. About 75 to 80% of the people who train to be actors give up within a year because it's super cutthroat and super judgmental. And the thing is that most actors are judging themselves so harshly that they never show up. Like one of my oldest friends is by far the best actor that I have ever met, and he hardly ever works. He
Oh,
hardly
what
ever
a pity.
works.
Such a pity. Huh?
It is, because the stories that he tells himself in his own head prevent him from showing up.
Mhm.
And The transition happened because my agent was very good at getting me corporate gigs. So I would show up to a stage or an expo, business expo, and I would pretend to be an engineer from Hewlett Packard, a nuclear physicist, an expert in rocket science.
Oh.
And all I'd done is learn a script and put on the performance, you know. But what really struck people was I was very good at getting people engaged into stepping into an environment that they could be sold to. And I did a gig for a group called Inmarsat, who, at the beginning of the 21st century, Inmarsat put satellites into space. So they are rocket scientists, genuinely. And they sell airtime on these satellites to media organizations. Previously, before the year 2000, they were intergovernmentally owned by 14 different governments around the globe. So one of the advantages that everybody at Inmarsat had was they didn't have to pay any income tax. And then just before the new century, they went private. So they suddenly had to pay income tax and they suddenly had to sell. So these rocket scientists had to become client-facing for the first time in their lives. And so I did this gig for them in Switzerland. I jumped across to do a gig called the International Broadcasters Convention. And the results they got were so good that they said, can you teach us how to do what you're doing? And I got my first gig. I got my first 2-year contract from that. And I charged far too little because I knew absolutely nothing about business and how to run business. And I know I charged too little because they went, yeah, sure, as soon as I mentioned a figure. So I discovered that working with real people was more fun than working with people who, and I lovingly call them real people as opposed to actors. Actors are people who want to be somebody else. And when I wanted to be an actor, I was one of those people who wanted to be someone else, who wanted to sort of actualize life through living somebody else's life. And I don't feel like that anymore at all. I now feel like having created what I've created at Speak to Shine, it's made me more happy with who I am and are sort of turning up the volume on who I am in the world. So after I'd started taking that business on and thinking, oh, well, I can earn, proper money doing this and it's more fun. And I found that the women I was working with got better results than the men that I was working with. Oh. So I did a little, I did a little split testing. I thought, oh, that's interesting. These women are getting promotions after about 6 months. These men are still struggling and they're not, they're not really doing the exercises that I'm asking them to do. They're finding excuses. So I thought dealing with that's quite tiresome. Because dealing with people who are not getting results is quite tiresome. Because pretty soon, people who don't get results get upset about paying you. Because they're paying for results, right? So I thought, well, I've got one demographic of client who's doing really well and another demographic of client who's really struggling. So what shall I do? So I started focus on working more with women. And consistently for the past 10 years, it's been the case that the women I work with, I'm not entirely averse to working with men, but that process, the majority of men I've worked with have always been harder work to get to a result. So yeah, that's why I went, okay, well, and this is fun as well. We're you know, we have a lot more fun. You have a lot more fun with clients who are getting a result than you
Yes.
do with clients who are not.
Yeah, and who are committed. You
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
be
totally.
committed and doing the work. It's
Yes,
not coming from doing nothing.
correct.
Yeah, that's so true. You focus heavily on empowering women or
Hmm.
women in your program. So, what are some of the common challenges that women face in the workplace, and how do your methods address these issues?
So women often come to me with a similar story, and I think now I'm more certain than ever that there are stories that these women are telling themselves about what's going on around them that
Mhm.
actually in many way becomes a self-sabotage pattern. So it's almost like, oh, there isn't much point. All these men hate me. Oh, I'll never get a promotion. I don't belong in this room. I hear it again and again. And so a lot of the work that I do with my female clients is about clearing the stories that they're telling in their own head about their own value. This really is a simple case of if you want more money, you have to create more value.
Hmm.
Right?
I'm not
If you
sure.
think about if you're an employee, actually it's the
Yes.
same if you're an entrepreneur or an employee, it's the same, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you're an employee, it's your boss.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an entrepreneur, it's your clients.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever it is, they're looking at you and they're thinking, how much does this cost?
Yes.
Or they're thinking, wow, what a lot I get.
Uh-huh.
Now,
Okay, I understand. So you think you have to put the value first,
yeah.
more to show more of the value they get.
Oh, totally. You have to do the value first
Mm-hmm.
so that when you ask for the money,
Yeah, they
they
know what
go,
they get.
ah, wow, yeah, of course. Why
I got
wouldn't
it.
I? Right?
So it's peanuts, this little for
Yeah.
so much,
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
true.
if an employee says, I'd like an extra 15,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if your boss is looking down and going, that sounds like
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no. Or they could look down and go, 15,000 a year, that's cheap. Of course I'm going to give you an extra 15,000 a year because I know 150 at least comes in through you.
Mm.
One of my clients is a lawyer. A rare case of a male client who's done very well. He's a commercial lawyer, and when he came to me, he said, "Look, I mean, he had previously run his own business, and he joined a firm, and he got himself into this rut, and the rut was everyone just thinks I'm really nice." And so that, they occasionally give him a pat on the head for being really nice. Uh, and so we got together, started working together in order to change that. Now, within a month, I helped him double the amount of money he brought in through new business.
With
And
being
then
mean.
through, no, but through being direct.
Ah,
He,
okay, okay, I like it.
yeah. So I mean, it's a huge problem that we have as entrepreneurs with clients is we want to be
Yes.
liked by our clients. And yet our desire to be liked by our clients is what stands between us and the money.
Mm-hmm.
Because your clients are going, I've already got friends, thanks very much. Right?
So true.
And and so you're you're more likely to get a friend out of a client the less you worry about being liked.
Mhm.
So my client got double the money into the business within a month, kept that up. 2 months ago, I got a little WhatsApp from him on the phone. I've just got a 20% pay rise.
Oh, great.
He said, I went in to ask for it, and I asked for it, and they went, sure. Now, he'd gone into that office ready for an argument.
Uh-huh.
He'd gone into that office ready to justify himself. And the point is, he didn't have to, because he'd followed my system.
Great.
So he said, can I have 20% extra? And they went, hell yeah, of course you can.
Why not
Because
30?
yeah, damn, why didn't I ask for 30? Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you see, it's like what we want is to avoid all of those conversations where people have to justify their value, because you make your value so blinking clear to the people who are making decisions, financial decisions about you and your future. Now, for all the entrepreneurs, that's all of your clients are making your decisions about your financial future. So you want to create a situation where you go, it's 1,000, it's 1,000 euros, it's 3,000 euros, it's 5,000 euros. It doesn't matter what you charge. What matters is when you say it to the potential client, they go, hell yeah, when can we get started? Would you like it now?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. A good strategy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's always about sharing what your potential value is. Not just the value you're paid for, but the potential value.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, you emphasize the importance of authenticity in speaking. So, what does having an authentic voice means to you, and how can people learn to find their true voice? Because I think you have to stand behind what you're saying, otherwise
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
working. Yes.
You mentioned the 7 elements, didn't you,
Yes.
before we began, and the authenticity of voice and the authenticity of body and the authenticity of energy, I think, are very clear to people. So, most of us know when we're in the presence of a fake.
Yes.
When someone's forcing their voice or forcing their personality. Someone's maybe too loud, or someone's maybe too quiet, but they're pushing really hard. And when your listeners listen, they can hear it in someone who's not authentic, because the hypothalamus, in the unconscious mind, the bit of the brain, the earliest part of the brain to grow inside the fetus. It's why it's got so much power over what we choose to do with our lives. It's really closely paying attention at an unconscious level all the time to every person we meet and every person we virtually meet. So that every listener, every watcher of what we're doing right now, the hypothalamus is highly in action at an unconscious level, trying to work out, can I trust these people? And so it's modulated here to listen and look for authenticity. Look for authenticity. Does a movement begin in the center of a body, or does a movement begin in the shoulders? If the movement begins in the shoulders, it's a lie.
Oh, that's a harsh statement.
Yeah, it's what the unconscious mind is doing,
Yes.
right? We
Always
can't.
charging, huh?
Yeah, and is a voice moving naturally, tonally, through that person's range? When we hear a monotone, we tune out, and we tune out really quickly. Why? Because the unconscious mind goes, I can't work out whether they're telling the truth or not. So it's not safe to listen.
Ha.
Get out of there.
Mhm.
And then, most of us who've ever gone to any kind of further education will know what it's like to sit in a boring lecture and not be able to be focused, listening to the very boring lecturer. And the thing is, it's just, all it is our own unconscious minds trying to save us from something that it goes, I can't work out if this guy's telling the truth or not. Truth moves tonally in the voice. Lies stay on a monotone because it suggests control, conscious control.
Yes, so important.
Yeah.
So, in your experience, what specific skill sets or techniques are essential for mastering effective communication in a professional setting?
I call it the techniques of presence.
Okay.
So there are 3 different states that a human being can inhabit at any one time. One is a state of presence, and the other 2 are very much not. So the other 2 states are states where you're focused inward, and effective communication, you have to be present. So you have to have your energy focused outward so that you can actually receive. Because if you're focused inward, you can't receive what's going on. You can't effectively analyze what's happening in a room around you, which means you're much more likely to catastrophize what's going on in the room around you. Oh my God, I knew it was going to be dreadful. Oh my God, I just wish I were somewhere else. Oh my God, I wish the earth would just swallow me up and take me away. And I'm not going to say anything, right? And all of these internal conversations happen when we're focused inward. Now, here's where this links with, I bet, a great deal of the work that you must be doing, Cécile. The difference is where you are breathing in the torso. So if you're breathing in the chest, you're in one of the states that's not presence. You're breathing in the chest, boom, 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 high heart rate. Hello, hypothalamus. Bye-bye oxygen in the frontal lobe. Right? Bye-bye clever thinking.
Yeah.
Right? Hypothalamus can think 3 thoughts. Hit them, run away, pretend I'm dead. That's it. Anything else that the human brain can accomplish has to happen in the frontal lobe.
Yeah.
If you're in a state of presence, you're breathing in the stomach, you are breathing low, you are breathing slow. You are in a state of balance. When you're in a state of balance, it's almost impossible to knock you over because you are absolutely solid. And if you're not in a state of presence, then you're not in a state of balance.
Yeah.
You become easy to knock over, right? So much of your brain's just focused on keeping you upright.
Yeah, and also the voice disappears, if you are
And the voice
in this
disappears.
stage, you just want to have no voice.
Yeah, so I think of them as circles of energy that
Yeah.
emanate. So we send out circles of energy. I call the first circle the introvert state, which is not a state of presence. It's when you just wish you were anywhere else but here. I call the third circle, which is the one that's too far forward, the one that's too pushy. I call it the convincing state. It's where bad salespeople go when they're absolutely desperate to close the deal. When you're trying to buy a car on the last day of the month, and they know they know their bonus is dependent on closing you as a client, and so they push, they convince, and what it makes you want to do is run away. But only in the state of presence can we create the energy, the second circle, only by sending our energy out and being comfortable with who we are can we engage with energy that's coming in from the other people we engage with in the world. And that's where real progress can happen for anyone. I was speaking to a couple of my clients this morning, and they're worried about stuff on social media, as in, what do I put on social media? And I'm like, it's a jungle out there. Don't waste your time. Go be in real conversations with real people. Create genuine connection, and then your clients will come. Particularly in 2025, particularly if you sell a high level service like I know you and I do, our clients are probably not hanging out on LinkedIn, actually. And our LinkedIn might be a nice little route to be able to say hello to them, but it's real, genuine connection that will change things for any entrepreneur. So I'm like, be in real conversations, network in networks where you can be with people who you can genuinely connect with and who want to give. That's a key thing as well.
Yeah, it's a giving and a taking, and it's this balance in giving and receiving. I
Yes.
think, if they are willing to listen, you will hear them, and it's an exchange. It's really an art. Networking is an art, and I'm learning every time so much from you and Patrick from these events. The networking secrets events Patrick organizes, it's amazing. You're never done with learning how to network successfully. It's really
It's
a
true.
skill set.
Yeah.
And the voice is a big part of it. So you
Huge.
talk about skyrocket your confidence.
Oh
It's
yeah,
your claim.
skyrocketing.
So
Yeah.
I want to know a bit more how you skyrocket the confidence of your women. So are they doing yes, 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 or what's your?
Well, they can if they like. The thing is, you have to inhabit your physicality, your actual height. So there's the Alexander technique exercise involving the puppeteer. That there's a piece of string through every single vertebra in your spine, coming out the top of your head, through the ceiling, and on the floor above, you've got a puppeteer who's holding that string, and they just pull it tight. And as they pull it tight, the space between every vertebra in the spine just extends a little bit. So that gets you to stand at your actual height. One of my favorite exercises is taking a client down to a busy railway station, rush hour railway station. Hundreds of people all trying to get their train. And I'll get my client set up and I'll get them with their puppeteers so that they're standing absolutely tall. And then I'll just give them a gentle push and I'll launch them into the crowd.
Okay.
And the crowd always parts for the person who looks like they know where they're going. Now, can you imagine how, if you think, oh, I can't do that, and then you place yourself in a position where I show you, all you have to do is stand to your height, and I move you into a crowd, and the crowd parts for you.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's such a powerful exercise. I mean, when I started with the Alexander technique, I experienced this that when you are present, people will look at you like you're a little bit
Yeah, they will.
crazy somehow. At the beginning, it really feels very strange, actually, having this
Absolutely.
attention
Well,
suddenly.
yes,
It's different.
I totally. Well, thing is, being willing to be looked at.
Yes, I think this is a whole other story, to get to the feeling of feeling comfortable in being watched and being looked at. Mm.
Being the leader's not for everybody
Mm-mm,
in this
mm-mm.
world, because it's to take an audience of people to take 50 people and say to them, please stop everything you're doing and look at me for the next hour. And then deal with the fact that 50 pairs of eyes are looking at you for a whole hour. That's not for everybody, right?
That's so true. And it needs training.
It needs
say
training. Yeah. Because it's not a natural thing to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing is, to be the leader, there's a huge amount of risk in saying, I'm the leader. And it traces all the way back to caveman and cavewoman days when we, you know, if you said, hey, I know where the meat is, and everybody looks at you, okay, I know where the meat is, follow me. Now, what's going to happen when there's no meat? Exactly, right? So the fear of rejection that
And
we
failure.
all feel stems all the way back from that. We don't want to be rejected for being wrong. It's why it's so easy to convince people of what their opinion should be.
Yeah.
Is because we're just afraid of being rejected by the tribe.
Yeah, and to take the risk to be wrong.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is social media makes it possible for us to be rejected and never know about it.
Oh, that's a good thing, huh? Or not?
It's a self-sabotage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a
You can
self-sabotage.
look at
The
this
thing, yeah,
in
if
different
you're
ways.
running a business, at some point you're going to have to pick up the phone and go, hi, can you pay the money? If they say no to you, you have to deal with it.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is, if we put a post out on Facebook, thousands of people are going to reject us and we'll never know about it. So I think what I'll do is I'll send an email or I'll put a post out on LinkedIn. You know, I send an email. It's time to pay now. Oh, they didn't respond to my email. Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
better send another email. Oh, they didn't reply to that email. I had to call someone this morning. I had to take my caller ID off and call somebody who hasn't been picking up for a week. And ignoring my emails. And I said, look, I've got to be direct with you and just ask, do you want to have a conversation with me or not? And if you don't want to have a conversation with me, I'd much rather that you said no and tell me now.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, the company won't pay for me, so I don't think I can afford it anymore. Okay, well, you know, I'm much better off knowing that information.
Yeah, yeah.
We can go, oh, God, the thought of picking up the phone and asking that question's scary because we don't want to be rejected. But the truth is, if you don't pick up the phone and you don't make the call, you're just going to be ignorant of what's really going on. If you're rejected, you can go, fine. It's a no. I'm so glad I know so I can focus my energy elsewhere.
Yes, yes.
Now, this is a big, big thing in the world of leadership. And I think particularly for women in a world of leadership and women who want to be leaders in their own business, is the fear of what will happen if you do something that makes someone not like you.
Yeah, we are so good in being friendly and liked. And
Yeah.
it's hard to stand out and say, oh, I don't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't like me, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
okay, I feel okay. I can
Yeah.
handle this.
It's true. The thing
Yeah.
is, though, if you don't do that, then you're almost worse than useless to your clients.
Yeah.
When I was at drama college, I had this. We had this lovely American teacher, who was our Stanislavski teacher, and he came over from the US and to work with us, and very lovely, and we all loved him, and he became our best friend. And so we'd work with him all week, and then we'd meet up with him in the weekend, and we'd have tea and cake and what have you, and we'd talk through politics, we talked through art, and we became best friends, all of us, the whole year. And then next term, he had to direct us in a play. And it did not work. Because we were like, hey, he's our friend. Da, da, da. We were really laissez-faire about the whole thing. And the thing is, the play was a disaster. And then he had to get us, he had to have one-to-ones with all of us and give us all a smart bollocking. He had to seriously tell us off, but he couldn't do it. He sat in those one-to-ones weeping.
Oh my God.
And he had a breakdown. He had a breakdown that he took years to recover from because he was seduced by the idea of being our friends. Now, if you're in a leadership position, and you are, if you are running a business where you sell something to clients, you're saying, I am the leader and you should choose me. And if you don't, then what's going to happen is they're going to buy from someone who is doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
You can be their friend after they've got the result. But for, you know, particularly when, you know, and both you and I do this, we're asking people to go a little bit left field, aren't we? We're asking
Yes,
people
of course.
to kind of believe in different ideas to the ideas that are considered the norm.
Be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Correct. So we need to take a leadership role, otherwise they'll be afraid of getting hurt.
Yeah.
So they won't do it, or they won't do it properly,
Mm-hmm.
or they won't do their homework.
Yeah. Yeah,
Either way, not getting a result, right?
yeah. I thought, if they don't like my post, it's good that they leave my page, with not getting in contact. And I just get the people who like my posts and like who I am and what I do. So I didn't correctly match, but now I understand what you meant with better to know and not fear rejection.
Yeah.
It's really about the mindset of being brave, being brave and confident and take on your responsibility for yourself and your clients or business.
We have to more than ever, because we're, we're financially at a global level in a very, very difficult place. And, I don't know how it is for you, for your business, Cécile, but lots of the people who 5 years ago would have automatically gone, yes, David, here's my credit card, charge what you like. They're not doing that now. They're going, well, in the UK, they're going, well, school fees have gone up, or the mortgage has gone up. I can't afford this and that, So, and these are people who are earning what I would have called really good money. But they're earning really good money, but they're struggling to go beyond the basics in terms of what that money is giving them. So a lot of the people who would have normally been my client 5 years ago just can't afford me on a one-to-one level. Okay, so it's better that I know, right? So that I stop bothering those kind of people and having those kind of conversations over and over again. But that doesn't mean there's a strata of people who can afford me. I need to speak to them, right? So speak to them.
Yes, yes.
Everything you get in every engagement, every communication engagement is telling you really important information about whether what you're doing right now is wise. Is it a good use of your time? But if you don't listen to that, or if you take away the wrong information, oh, they don't like me. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. I think that's one of the stories that I've heard most from clients at the beginning when we've just started working together is some variation of I'm not enough.
from where is it coming, huh?
Mhm.
Isn't parenthood or isn't it our society? I'm always thinking of, oh, how to get rid of this stupid message in my brain.
Yeah.
It's really in the brain, so you have to get it out and replace it with something new, a new thing. And this
Well,
took me
yeah, I
years.
know. Yes,
A
exactly.
pain,
Exactly.
huh? To
Yes.
work so hard just to get out one sentence you got somehow saved from the outside. It's not coming from inside. When you're children, when you're a child and growing up, actually at the beginning you are the best, you're the greatest, you don't understand anything, but you are cool. Everybody loves you. And then in a certain stage when you start not behaving as they would like, you're not good enough anymore. It's not
Mm.
good enough to just be. They want to steer you in a direction. So this is
Yes.
probably the
And
answer.
it's complex because they're probably wanting to steer you in a direction with a really good heart at the
Yeah,
same
of course.
time.
Of course. It's
Yeah,
not, probably we need this. I haven't the solution yet.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And what are some common misconception or myth about voice training that you would like to dispel?
I think that one of the most important ones is people thinking it's about volume
Hmm.
and about having a loud voice. When some of the most influential people can halt a room of 100,000 with with not a tiny voice. I'm trying to find the right word here, but a, a voice that's not loud, but just absolutely runs through the entirety of the room. The, the, the voice that can change an energy in the room is the most powerful. The person who is most certain is the person who will get their way.
Hmm.
And I think, I know a little bit about the journey that Barack Obama took with Patsy Rodenberg as a voice coach, because there's a marvelous video. There's a story that he used to tell in his first tour. And it's on, there's 8 different versions of it when he spoke in 8 different cities, 8 different versions on YouTube. So you can, if you go to YouTube and put Obama all fired up into the search bar, you will see a number of his appearances in that first presidential election campaign where he told the story of a little old lady's voice. And I'll leave it there because if that hasn't got you curious,
Hmm.
I don't know what will. But it encapsulates everything about the power of the voice to create change. The misconception that people have is that leadership is about having the loudest voice.
Hmm.
Actually, leadership is about having the most nuanced voice
Yes. Huh.
and having
And
your
you
energy
can you
out
tell?
here.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and being here,
Yeah, being
not
present.
going out
Yes.
of yourself all the time. Yes, and you have a lot of workshops. I just want to give you a moment to share with us a little bit more about
Yes.
your resources and workshops you offer.
Super. Well, one of the things that I'm working on at the moment that I would love people to join me on if they want to. I have a program that I call the Speaking Success Circle. And the Speaking Success Circle happens twice monthly on the second Thursday and the fourth Thursday of the month. Now, I deliver it for an hour, 7 p.m. UK time. People are welcome from anywhere across the globe to come. And it's very simple. We're on a mission to empower as many people as we possibly can. I make myself a promise to change 5,000 voices and change 5,000 people's financial circumstances every year. Now,
Mm.
of course, I'm an author, an Amazon best-selling author, and I've got a number of books out there. And people read the books. That's part of my mission. This is also part of my mission because I wanted to create something that was not a financial strain for people, but would allow them to get learning nonetheless. So people can come for a month free, completely free.
Whoa, and it's online, is it?
It's online. It's in my Zoom room.
Wow, that's great. That's a fantastic
Now,
opportunity.
if they want to stay beyond the first month, if they go, well, that was valuable, I'd like to stay, then they can start paying. And it's about 50, I think it's 55 euros, 56 pounds. It's designed to be something that's not a huge financial burden, but it's a chance to get one-to-one coaching from me in a group of environment.
And it's fantastic. You know, if more voices get heard, especially from women.
Correct.
I mean, this is what
Correct.
people need
if you wanted me
nowadays.
to, yes. So it's very simple. I coach the people who show up and the stuff they want me to coach them with. I don't have an agenda. It's not an ongoing program where if you don't show up, you will miss something. It's a coaching program where I go, I'm here. What can I do for you? And then it's up to the people who show up to go, David, I've got a presentation next week, or I'm having real problems with the group I network with, or I'm really struggling to get clients to close, or I'm really struggling with my boss who doesn't listen to me. I don't care what the challenge is, as long as it's to do with communication. I will serve the people who ask.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And
that's great.
it's up to me to prove value to people. That's why I give them the first month free. If it's not for you, I'd rather know. There'll be no hard feelings. You can come twice. I'll have a little chat with you. If you go, do you know what, this isn't for me, I'll wish you all the best and you can go. But if you say it is for me, then I'll ask if we can set up a subscription plan.
Mm-hmm. That's a great mission. You know, it's uplifting to learn how to speak and shine in a group, you know, who everyone wants this.
Yes.
Then to stay in your room and rehearse yourself all the time. It's really hard work and not so motivating. So I think
It's hard, and you don't get any energy back if you're on your
yes,
own.
yes. And you see that others are also struggling and they look always like they can do whatever, you know, but they're still struggling. And I think this community feeling is so important. And that's great that you offer this possibility. This is a great sensation. And this year will be really the year we have to change
Yes.
and be heard, I
Yes.
think. So more important than ever.
Yeah,
So this is
absolutely.
definitely great. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, David, for sharing your
Thank you.
insights and experiences with us today.
It is a great pleasure. Always a great pleasure to sit and have a chat with you, Cécile. So I
Thank
thank you
you.
for being a
Thank you
great,
so
lovely
much.
host.
Thank you. Your passion for empowering women is so uplifting. I love it. I just love it. And also, thanks to our audience. Thank you for joining us in this enlightening conversation. We appreciate your time and interest in this important topic. I recommend you book a strategy session with David now and pick up his insightful book. You have now a book on your online page, yes?
Yes, I do.
Your
My
webpage.
book, Be Seen, Be Heard, Get Paid What You Are Worth. And if that doesn't
Yeah,
get
that's
you
amazing.
excited, yeah,
Yeah.
you can buy it from almost every Amazon around the globe. I think it's on the Amazon page. I don't know. It's about £20 at the moment in the UK. So
Yeah,
go
but
grab the book if you want, because that'll
yeah,
give
that's
you
great.
complete insight into what happens for a client working with me across 6 months.
Wow, that's wonderful. So if you found value, in what we've discussed today, please consider sharing this episode with others who may benefit from David's expertise. Remember, unlocking your true potential is a journey, and every step you take matters. Thank you once again, David, and to all of our listeners, keep shining. The
Yay.
recording of this interview will be available on our YouTube channel, and please follow us for more content to come on Instagram and Facebook, also on our website. Let us know how you found the event and what you liked most. Until next time, stay connected with your mind and body.